Okay, so how could we solve these Kirchoff's equations, these loop law equations, if we don't have something very easy like that first example? Well, let's just take a look at these two. And again, this is next level. This isn't a standard difficulty one. This is medium difficulty. If I have these two, how can I solve them for I1 and I2? There's a lot of different ways to do it. You could do a matrix. I've had some students do that. What I like to do with these is add the equations together. You find a way to add the equations such that either I1 or I2 will drop out. It'll add up to 0. So here, I've got an 8I1 and an 8I1 here. They're both negative. If I call this one A and call this one B, if I do A minus B, that should drop out the I1, leaving me an equation with a number and just I2. So let's do that. I'll show you what I'm doing. I'm going to do A minus B. And literally, I'm just going down the line and subtracting. So 16 minus 12 is a positive 4. Minus 8I1 minus a minus 8I1 drops that out. Minus 8I2 minus a minus 12 will be plus 4I2 equals 0. This tells me that I2 is a negative 1 amp, just like we saw. And then once I have I2, I can pop it back into one of these. And here's another thing that will help you catch mistakes. Strongly recommend you go back and put your answer into all of these equations to see if I1 pops out as the same for all of them. Okay, I used A minus B. So let's put I2 into A and figure out I1, and then let's put I2 into B and figure out I1. So if I do A, it's plus 16. I can write, yep, plus 16. Minus 8I1 minus 8I2 is a negative 1 equals 0. Okay, 16 plus 8 is 24. Bring this over, equals 8I1. I1 equals 3 amps. Positive. If I put it into B, I'm going to have plus 12 minus 8I1 minus 12 times a negative 1 equals 0. 12 plus 12 gives me exactly the same thing. 24 equals 8I1. I1 is plus 3 amps. If you put your I1 or I2, which if you put the first one you solve for, back into your equations, and normally you'll have 3 equations here. So put them into all 3 equations. If all 3 equations pop out the same answer, you can be pretty sure you did the problem right. If one of the 3 equations gives you a different answer for I1 or I2, whichever, you know you did it wrong. So if you get the same, pretty good chance you have it right. If one of the 3 tells you something different than the others, you definitely have a mistake. So this is a good way to check your work when you are doing Kirchoff's problems, because it's not that much work. You already have the equations, so you probably have an A, a B, and a C. Most of the problems we do, it'll be A, B, and C. And then it's just real quick. Pop whichever the first one you solve for into, and then solve for the other one. 1, 2, 3. If they're all the same, you're good to go. So there is another way to solve for the simultaneous equations when you have something a little harder. And let me just show you a real quick way to think about when you have something that is not easy. If we changed this to, I don't know, 24, how could we do it then? Well, our goal still is to remove one of these columns, to add up the columns so that either I1 becomes 0 or I2 becomes 0. In this case, it's not straightforward, like an 8 and an 8, but 8 and 24 have a common factor. Well, 24 is the factor. 8 and 12 also have 24 as a common factor. So what do we got? I could do, if I wanted to do, let's see, a minus 3b. A minus a 3b. 3 times 8 would give me 24, and I have to, they're both negative, so I have to do the subtraction. That would be one way to solve for I2, because it would drop this one out. So that would solve for I2. If I did this one, okay, 24 would be a good common number there. So I'd need 3 A's, 8 times 3, and I'd need 2 B's. And negative and a negative, it would have to be a subtraction. That gets rid of the I2, and I would solve for I1. I really recommend you try it and see if you get the same answer popping up both ways. So when you've got numbers that are a little less beautiful for examples, here is one of the ways you can do it. Ignore the actual number, because we need that. Try to find in the column for I1 or the column for I2, try to find a number that you've got that both of them will work with. And every single time, it doesn't matter if they're pretty numbers or not, you can always just do the reverse. You don't have to stop and say, well, okay, do I have, how many 8s are in 24? How many, what's the common one between this? You can always do 8a minus 24b. That'll always work, because 24 times 8 and 8 times 24, same thing. Or you could do 12a minus 8b, same thing. And so that's always an option. Just flip those numbers, and it'll pop that term out to 0. So there is some helpful hints for solving Kirchoff's problems, and do some practice problems. Just try the math right here and see if both of those work, or the two that I had before. Every time it should come out with the same answer for I1 and I2, because, well, that's math. That's cool that way, right? Okay, good job for watching.